Oh, no.
You're doing really well.
Oh, look, it's now the vertical hold's gone.
Welcome, Fallout fans. You've come to the right place. I'm Jeffrey Vega with IGN, and today we're going to look at the brand new Fallout Pip-Boy 3000 replica. I'm here with the co-founder of the wand company, Chris Bernardo. You guys have made a Pip-Boy before, so why make another Pip-Boy now, and what is new about this?
Well, obviously there are a number of different Pip-Boys, and it would be great to make all of them, to be fair, because they're lovely things. The first one we made, the 76 Pip-Boy, we made it as a kit because we were under extreme time pressure to make it before the game launched. We made one for the TV show, and now I guess we're becoming the guys that make Pip-Boys, I suppose. So we decided to go for this one. I just got to lift it off its stand there and show you.
There it is.
Yeah, the same Pip-Boy was obviously, as you know, in Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So that gave us a chance of making a Pip-Boy that could do both those things. So yeah, this is why we've done this.
And you worked with Bethesda on this, obviously. It's an official partnership. Like, how much do they kind of say, like, okay, here's how we want to, are they giving you kind of like direction in terms of like actually building out the game? How does that work?
They are. To be fair, they've given us a lot of help, but when they first saw it, they just sat there with their mouths open. It is the real, I mean, for them to have designed it and worked on it for years, and then to see it come to life and be really real is mind-blowing. I mean, when I had the first meeting with them, my business partner, Richard, wrote to me and emailed me and said, what did they say about so-and-so? What did they say about this? And I said, they couldn't say anything. They were just sitting there with their mouths open, looking at it, going, "Oh my God, that's incredible!" So yeah, it was quite cool from that point of view.
Okay, I'm really excited about this Pip-Boy because I know it's from Fallout 3 and I know it's from Fallout New Vegas. But this singular Pip-Boy 3000, you can switch between Fallout 3 mode or Fallout New Vegas mode. Tell us how that works.
You can. In fact, it has thousands of entries in it, and if I'm on this screen at the moment, I want to switch. I'll just go here. I'll scroll down to where it says Fallout 3, and I'll press this like this, and you can see that it changes to New Vegas mode.
With a song.
With the beginning of it.
Jingle.
And then it has the color changes, and you get all the screens that you would get in the New Vegas Pip-Boy. It is effectively two products in one.
Show me like kind of like so you turn it on and you have the home screen.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do a turn off.
Okay.
That's
going to sound so good on these mics. All these little sound effects.
Well, the idea is because it's a CRT in the universe, so we try to make this thing. Of course, as you know, it's a LCD, in-plane switching LCD actually, which is really nice. But you want to make it look like a CRT, so you've got this lovely curved screen in the front of it, and then you've got these effects. If I hold this button down, I've held it a long time, 3 seconds to turn it off. If I press it again, turn it on, you'll see these lights will glow as it comes on. And then you get the startup sequence, you get the slight wobble of the screen. There are other things you can do to make the glitching more persistent. You can adjust the threshold of the glitching.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, it is pretty cool. There's a mode where when you tap it, it glitches more. And stuff like
no
that.
way.
So we can probably get there. Let me see if I can find that mode, because that's pretty cool. I'm just going to go to So there you go. You see, so right now we're in this persistent glitching. If I tap it, you can see it glitching more. You can see the screen wobbling.
Yeah.
And then there will come a time when it starts to do the vertical hold goes and stuff like that. And the only way to solve it is to tap the screen. So you can set up a few functions like that.
That
really
is
cool.
that is. I feel like that goes beyond replica. That's just straight up immersive. I mean,
it is. It has an accelerometer inside it, which means that we can measure its movement in certain things, and we can use that to do stuff. So one of the cool things it does is it has a fake radiation sensor in it,
of course.
where as you tilt it, the radiation Geiger clicks get longer. So you can prank people by going up to them and seeing how radioactive they are. How about this is the coolest thing? It has a radio, and the radio has a signal strength detector inside. So it is in fact a real radiation detector, because obviously radio waves are electromagnetic radiation, and it can sense when they're stronger and when they're weaker. And it has a little bar graph that goes up when you're doing that.
Oh man, okay. That I will need everyone to know that it is technically not real radiation.
It's not
ionizing.
Hang on. It's not ionizing radiation, but it is real radiation.
It is real radiation. That's right. Yes, I don't. Yeah, no, that's true. Because I don't want to. I'm worried if I go somewhere toxic, I will, it's really just the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I just know that there's so many different kinds of features, and is there one that particularly you were very excited about?
It has the game Atomic Command on it, and that itself is amazing to play. It's great fun.
Can we see what it looks like?
You can. Whether I can play it without looking at it, I don't know. So I'm just going to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it around. I'll go along to MISC. Then I think it's here. You can see the holotape, the little picture of the holotape. And if we go like that, you can see the game. You'll try and play it back to front so I can show you. Here we go. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I can't. Oh, no. I'm going to be useless. Oh, no.
You're doing really well.
Oh, look, it's now the vertical hold's gone. Damn.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. That's like it's so much happening at once.
So there you go. It's quite immersive from that point of view. Didn't realise the vertical hold was going. That game is amazing, and there's no two ways about it. It's very good to play. In fact, if I was playing it the right way around, I wouldn't say I'm hot at playing the game, but I can actually play it. It's great fun.
You know, I was looking at the specs. I saw there was an LED torch, which is new to this Pip-Boy.
There is an LED torch, and it's the first time we've done this. In fact, if I just turn this around, you look at the back, you've got a couple of new things. Obviously, you've got the normal USB-C for upgrading it and for powering it and basically whatever. Then you've got this high brightness torch tucked away in the back here, and then you've got a headphone jack for headphones. But let's turn on the torch. I'd probably max out your your cameras. It's really bright.
Wow!
I wouldn't look at it.
It's gonna look so good for like cosplayers. They're kind of they're going
and it's to be fair, it is good enough to use in the dark. I mean, it's like
vertical.
That's being persistently doing it. So
right, yeah. I love that that's a feature that you want to make it look broken.
I can select that to be off. So then it does the normal, just gentle glitching that it should do.
I love this. And so are there any other like kind of favorite kind of screens that you like love to interact with in this?
Well, there's another favorite function that I'd like to talk about.
Yes,
and
please.
that is that, so obviously you've got these lights here. If I turn it off, I do a long hold. It says it's turning off. And then when I turn it on, you'll see these lights glow up. I think we've already done this, but I'm going to show you something else. Before I do that, I'm going to lean down.
Of course.
And get this charging cable. It comes with its own charging cable. If I plug the charging cable in, there we go, you'll see that as if it was powered by some kind of nuclear, shall we say, vacuum tubes, these lines glow. Now, this isn't really canon, because they don't glow in the game. But
it's canon for your bedroom nightstand.
It totally is. There's a PCB in there, and we were thinking, what if we had lights that shone down, and we had this thing actually coming out at the bottom? It looks really cool. And as it's charging, they pulse very gently, and then when it's fully charged, that's so
neat. And that's got to probably look really cool.
Yeah,
on the
it
stand
does.
too,
Let me
right?
just put it on the stand. There you go. If you see on the stand, it kind of glows down. Because every time you make a stand, I always say to Richard, this is my business partner, I always say, I'd like to have lights in the stand. I'd like the stand to glow or do something, because the stand for a collector is such a big part. We call this display grade. That's a thing that, for obvious reasons, that you can display it. And I always want the stand to do something really good. I mean, the stand itself is It's one area where we get to design the thing ourselves.
Right.
So here this is a solid sort of slab of aluminium that's machined out, and then you've got this sort of comb that fits into these things and sort of holds it securely like that.
So I could plug this, I could keep this plugged in forever and have it on my nightstand and just have it as an alarm clock.
You can. One of the things that really bugs me about clocks on my nightstand is they're too bright, even when they're dim. They light the whole room up. Do you remember you put it on at night and you think, oh, that's not very bright. And then you wake up in the middle of the night and the whole room's illuminated by your clock. Well, this has an ultra dim mode where it's so faintly on that at night when it's dark, you can just see it.
I feel like people are going to revisit the games after like getting something like this. They'll be like, oh man, this is exactly 1-to-1.
One of the things that was interesting about designing it is the design for the catch on the bottom, because actually the one that you get in the game, it's locked onto your arm and you never really see them taking it on and off. And the other Pip-Boys that have come, I guess, since this one, like the 76 Pip-Boy and the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy, all had catches that you could actually see, and then you'd have the design along with that. But this did not have a catch. So what we've done is we've designed a catch that's flared in with the metal part, and then you press this in here, and then it opens again upside down. There you go. So with the memory foam cuff inside, and then when it shuts, that just clips in like this.
And then this will also come with a new spacer bar.
It does, because this is a fixed diameter, and that is part of the design. We can't really change that. So if you have a slightly larger arm, there's a spacer bar that goes in underneath that extends the diameter, extends the circumference slightly.
Yeah, especially if you're very strong like I am and you have big muscles.
You've worked out,
of course.
Obviously. So one last thing I was going to say, obviously it's not entirely die cast, but it's quite a lot of it is die cast. This whole front portion here and these bits coming down here, this is die cast metal. So if you feel the weight of it, I would like to pass it to you, and I will later. You can feel the sort of mass that it's got.
Yeah.
Fans who want to, shall we say, distress it, it will come like this. Fans who want to distress it a bit can chip off the paint. This front part here is all metal, and when you chip it off, what you get is the bare metal underneath.
Oh, great.
So that will be quite cool. Jeffrey, thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure telling you all about the Pip-Boy.
I'm going to take that if you don't keep a close eye on it. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time. You'll be able to pre-order the new Fallout Pip-Boy 3000 replica on IGN store starting November 17th. For everything else Fallout, keep it locked to IGN.
From Ninja Gaiden's earliest 2D entries to Ryu's critically acclaimed foray into 3D, the Ninja Gaiden series has hacked and slashed its way to the top of the hyper-violent, also known as fun, action games genre. While countless ninja games have been released since the NES original, what is it that makes the Ninja Gaiden series still relevant after nearly 40 years? In this episode of IGN Rewind, we're going to take a look back at how this series found its core game design DNA thanks to an early use of cinematics, narrative-driven gameplay, and innovation in difficult but rewarding challenges. Not to mention, one of the sickest finishers ever in a video game. This is the story about how Ninja Gaiden has kept its blade sharp and remains one of the most influential action series of all time. The year is 1988. Arcades are a dominant force in games thanks to titles like Double Dragon, Ghouls and Ghosts, and Contra. All excellent games in their own right, but little did the world know that one of the most important ninja games of all time was about to be released in both arcades and on the NES.
Out of the darkness, the bright spirit of the Ryuken reborn. Ninja Ryukenden from Tecmo. Just when you had given up all hope, a ninja saves you from the evil Jackie O. More realistic than any other TV game, you're right in the action, fighting to the death.
Ninja Ryukiden, the game we in the Western world know as Ninja Gaiden, because, well, according to the game's art director, this is a direct quote, it sounded cool. The arcade saw a Double Dragon-inspired port, which, while popular at the time, was dramatically different from the console version of Ninja Gaiden that we would all come to know and love. Ninja Gaiden was an unexpected revolution in action games, and overnight it had redefined what video games were capable of, thanks to its difficult but extremely rewarding combat, narrative-driven gameplay, and one of gaming's first uses of cinematic cutscenes to tell a story. Today, you'd be hard-pressed to find a major release without some sort of cutscene or narrative break, with some games even feeling like they're more movie than game. In the early days though, this wasn't the case. The majority of video games on the NES use a single static image with text and music to bookend a game's story using what most would loosely call a cutscene. Games like Castlevania or The Legend of Zelda that demanded more explanation would require you to open up the manual and find it yourself rather than play the game. Yes, hardware was a limitation, but it wasn't the only one. Western and Japanese versions of some NES games varied dramatically in narrative, tone, and marketing because at the time, video games were still considered to be primarily for kids.
Unseen, unheard, and unnoticed. Mission accomplished. The final battle begins. Ninja Gaiden for Nintendo from Tecmo.
Ninja Gaiden desperately wanted to change that. The developers Team Ninja used a Hollywood blockbuster-like approach to elevate its storytelling for mature audiences. The game starts with a cutscene of two ninjas dueling to the death in a grassy, moonlit field. Like a big-budget movie, it utilized fast cuts, cinematic camera work, a widescreen aspect ratio, and expressive music to set up the death of Ryu's father. This inciting incident leads you on a game-long quest for revenge. Revenge wasn't new to video games, but that kind of cinematic setup sure was. In just a few seconds, we went from video games with little to no storytelling to anime-inspired cutscenes and dialogue motivating the player to complete their journey. This level of storytelling marked a major step forward for the perception of video games, proving they could be so much more than a child's toy. Video games could also be an engaging platform to tell a captivating story. Cutscenes, however, aren't the only thing that made Ninja Gaiden stand out all those years ago. Gaiden's game design also made significant strides, proving to be uniquely challenging to gamers of the 8-bit generation. Instead of having the time jumps and memorize level layouts like in early Mega Man and Mario games, Gaiden's high difficulty, high reward gameplay tied progression to skill development and a player's ability to master the game's mechanics. Most hard games were designed to be this way because it was an easy way to pad out the game's runtime, or in the case of the arcade, make sure our pockets were noticeably lighter when we left. Ninja Gaiden was one of the first games to take a high challenge, high reward gameplay and mold it into something more enjoyable. You're gonna die a lot when you play these games, but after enough frustrating failure, you'll eventually find yourself playing the game with a mix of defensive dodging and aggressive strike, and okay, brace yourself for this one, having a lot of fun. Stage 1-1 is a masterclass in this philosophy, teaching players that challenge can be rewarding. The first stage in most games typically acts as a tutorial. Super Mario Bros. Teaches players how to jump with little difficulty, Metroid forces the player to backtrack in order to gain the Morph Ball ability, and Sonic quickly demonstrates the need for speed, because, you gotta go fast. By immediately thrusting you into combat, Ninja Gaiden's first level not only explains the game's core mechanics of kill or be killed, but also demonstrates that enemies can come from all directions, even behind you. We've all been killed too many times by those annoying dogs within a few seconds of starting. The game's tutorial level is a trial by fire that teaches you both strike first and strike fast, and how to navigate the game's levels. Those skills are continually reinforced throughout the game, requiring a lot more trial and error as it gets progressively harder. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? While the first true Souls-like game wouldn't be released for another 20 plus years, it's not hard to see Gaiden's DNA in Demon's Souls, Bloodborne, and every other Soulsborne game since. This challenging and at times frustrating game design not only solidified Ninja Gaiden's NES adventure as one of the 8-bit era's best games, but also helped shape the next generation of Ryu's adventures on the Game Boy, Sega's Master System, and a decade later, the original Xbox. The 6th generation of video games had some of the most influential games of all time. Games like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Resident Evil 4, Halo Combat Evolved, Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear Solid 3, the list just goes on and on. So it would take a forward-thinking and not to mention generation-defying entry in the Ninja Gaiden series to even cut its own place in what many consider one of the best generations of gaming. For Ninja Gaiden, there weren't one, but 3 titles that kept the series sharp in a time where competition was fierce and groundbreaking innovation was everywhere. 2004's Ninja Gaiden, and more specifically its expanded 2005 re-release, Ninja Gaiden Black, is considered one of the greatest action games of not only the 6th generation, but to some of all time. IGN gave it an incredibly high score of 9.4, praising its fast-paced combat, its hard but rewarding gameplay, and action. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Similarly to the original, this new take on the series would need to once again redefine the standards of what an action game can be. While the cutscenes look great for the time, it's Ninja Gaiden's gameplay that would once again shine and raise the bar for challenging action games across the board, while still emphasizing the strike hard and strike fast precision and timing from the NES era games. Combat was more chaotic and aggressive now that Ryu was able to be attacked in 3 dimensions, and pairing incoming attacks relied heavily on timing and rhythm. You can't just button mash your way through enemies. It requires a more methodical approach with each encounter, honed by a lot of death. Just like in the first game, you're taught this right off the bat, as you find yourself fighting 2 very annoying ninjas on a cliffside. I died a few times here. Choosing when to attack, when to dodge, and when to avoid enemies ends up becoming a metagame of rock, paper, scissors, and it's something we've seen in countless games since, like in the Batman Arkham series, and practically every Souls game ever. For some players, myself included, Ninja Gaiden Black was one of the first games where, even though the gameplay could get extremely frustrating at times, and it did, it was pretty hard to put down once the game's core mechanics were figured out. For me, it wasn't until I beat the first boss, timing my strikes and dodges by finding the right balance between patience and aggression, that I understood how rewarding the game could be. By the time the game's final boss comes stomping around, the game delivers a final fight that, when played how you've been trained up until then, feels cinematic in its own right. Instead of cheesing the boss and spamming X a million times until their health bar hits 0, the player will find themselves dodging and parrying in ways that they couldn't early on in the game, making the fight feel almost like a narrative device in its own right. You as the player grow alongside Ryu as his journey progresses. This is a concept that's found in pretty much every high difficulty, high reward game to this day. And if you really take a step back and think about it, by forcing the player to get good, or at least achieve some semblance of a flow state by combining parries, dodges, and attacks with razor precision, the combat also becomes a narrative device that helps you progress the story. You grow alongside Ryu, you get stronger alongside Ryu, and most importantly, by the end you fight like a master ninja, just like the first game did way back in 1988. While not as impactful as the 2004 release, Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3 went on to receive critical acclaim and multiple releases and revisions. These games improved on what made the original Xbox title so meaningful, pushing Gaiden's precise combat and difficulty into the next console generation. Unfortunately, the franchise didn't cut through the competition in quite the same way Ninja Gaiden Black did at the height of the 6th console generation. It wasn't until over a decade after Ninja Gaiden 3 that indie developer The Game Kitchen would revitalize the series with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. What's old is new again. Ragebound took the series back to its 2D roots, adding more to the lore of Ninja Gaiden and perfecting the series' difficult but fair gameplay for a new generation of side-scrollers. It went on to be considered one of the best entries in the series, according to the IGN audience, and I concur. What's more, it helped pave the way for the latest installment, Ninja Gaiden 4, which looks set to raise the bar again for a new generation of hyper-violent and tough action game. It's impossible to overstate the impact Ninja Gaiden has had on action games over the years. Its DNA can be found in hundreds of great games due to its excellent combat mechanics, crushing difficulty, which somehow manages to be fun, and early use of cinematics to tell a story in new ways. Simply put, action games as they are today simply wouldn't exist without the influence of Ninja Gaiden.
After more than a decade, Valve is launching a new Steam machine, and while this little gaming PC is exciting on its own, it is the next step in Valve's play to become the face of PC gaming, at least more than it already is. Because alongside the Steam machine, Valve is also launching a new controller and the Steam Frame, a VR headset that itself runs on SteamOS. Combined with the Steam Deck, Valve now has the makings of its own tech ecosystem. So this didn't happen overnight. This idea of an ecosystem is something Valve has been quietly working on for more than a decade. And now that it seems like the next generation of consoles is going to look more like gaming PCs than ever, it's the perfect time for Valve to assert itself as the face of PC gaming. Now, this is an opinion piece written by my colleague Jackie Thomas, who also visited Valve with me to see their new hardware, and I do endorse her opinion. So when we talk about hardware ecosystems, the first thing that comes to mind is Apple.
Good morning.
Over the last couple of decades, the tech giant has created a range of devices that all work in concert, syncing together to your settings and preferences. It's why, for the most part, when you get a new iPhone these days, setting up a new device is as simple as holding it up over your old iPhone, letting software move everything over. This works with pretty much all of Apple's devices too. Whether it's an Apple Watch, Apple TV, or even a MacBook, everything is just kind of easier if you have other devices from Apple. On the surface, these devices are all distinct from one another, but because Apple makes both the hardware and the software, the company can make it extremely tempting to only buy Apple products. It just makes certain things easier. Apple's definitely not alone in doing this. Even staying in the realm of phones, Samsung is very similar in its approach too. There is a problem with this though. Apple's ecosystem is often referred to as a walled garden in the way that it makes people feel trapped after they've already invested in a couple of Apple devices. But it's not the only way to do it. Microsoft has also tried to create a similar ecosystem several times, starting with the Windows Phone. Jackie says she was one of the 12 people who owned one of these things and says it was genuinely useful to be able to carry Windows settings over to a phone. But even after Microsoft's mobile operating system faded into obscurity, Windows started to become a lot better at being a multi-device ecosystem in and of itself, even if it was limited to PCs. If you have multiple PCs running off of Windows, it's remarkably easy to set up so everything is just shared between all of them. Game saves, documents, and even settings are easy to set up so they sync between your different devices. And more recently with gaming, the company has also tried to work Xbox into this ecosystem-centric approach. That's why Microsoft claims everything is an Xbox, because through programs like Play Anywhere and Game Pass, everything potentially is. There's just one problem though, it's the user experience. Because Windows has been designed around a keyboard and mouse for decades, retooling it to be cross-compatible with a UI that's primarily used with a controller is going to take a lot of work. Microsoft has made some decent first steps in making Windows usable with a controller. Just look at the Xbox Ally X, but Valve has a leg up with SteamOS. Between the Steam Machine, the Steam Frame, and the Steam Deck, Valve is clearly moving to make SteamOS more of a platform of its own. It blew up in popularity with the Steam Deck in 2022, but it's been around much longer than that. Valve's Linux-based SteamOS launched in 2013, followed by the original Steam machines in 2015. But while the skeleton of the operating system was similar, it relied on games that already had built-in Linux support. There certainly were games that would run on SteamOS, but not enough to sell people on abandoning Windows altogether, especially when it was paired with expensive hardware. This led to third-party Steam machines being rebranded as Windows 8-based mini PCs, and it seemed like Valve's PC making days were in the past. But in 2018, Valve funded Proton, a compatibility layer that allowed SteamOS, along with other Linux distros, to run Windows games. While it was rough at first, only supporting a few games according to a post on Gaming on Linux, it's grown considerably in the 7 years since its initial release. Proton is what ultimately led to the Steam Deck's success. Through this modified version of Wine, Valve's little handheld can run pretty much any game in our libraries, albeit excluding any games that rely on anti-cheat software. As an operating system, it's only getting better too. With Valve's upcoming VR headset, the Steam Frame, it shows it's able to get Proton running on Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which not only allows Windows games to run on Linux, but also allows games built on traditional PC processors like the x86 architecture to run on ARM. That's something Apple has been struggling with. Just look at the limited amount of PC games that are running on macOS, even with the Rosetta translation layer. Thanks to Proton, Valve can now relaunch the Steam machine while completely avoiding the compatibility issues that killed it in the past. It's also joining a growing crowd of devices that are running SteamOS. Since people are already familiar with the operating system, it'll be more natural for them to ease into Valve's nascent ecosystem. What's more, SteamOS and Proton are largely open source, so you don't even have to tie yourself down to Valve's hardware to get in on it. For the longest time, if you wanted to play PC games, you were almost forced into Windows, and it's not that hard to see why. Microsoft's operating system has always had good hardware compatibility, which meant a wide range of machines and a huge built-in install base. But as Windows 11 gets more bloated with features like Copilot, an alternative has been desperately needed. The Steam Deck showed that it was possible to play most games without Windows, and the Steam Machine is going to go even further with its more powerful hardware, but there's still room to grow. Thankfully, due to the open source nature of Linux, which SteamOS is built on, anyone can install it or modify it to their own needs. The actual launcher is proprietary, of course, but you can add and remove features to SteamOS if you have the technical know-how, or at least know how to follow instructions on a GitHub page. Right now, you can theoretically install SteamOS on any computer, even if it's not technically supported by Valve. You just have to go to the SteamOS recovery page, download the image to a flash drive, and follow the instructions to install it. As of this video, only the Steam Deck and the Legion Go S are guaranteed by Valve to work, but as long as you have AMD hardware, you should be good to go. And even if you can't, there's always Bazzite, another gaming-centric Linux distro. So Valve might be launching a bunch of official devices that are running SteamOS, but you don't really have to use any of them to get in on this platform. It'll be more user-friendly on devices that already have everything installed and configured, but Valve isn't going to do anything to stop you from using any other hardware. Similarly, the Steam Machine itself is compatible with any controller, so you don't have to use the new Steam controller, and in turn, the Steam controller will work with any PC, regardless of operating system. Valve is just putting the toys out there and letting people play with them however they want. Both Microsoft and Valve are selling a dream of sorts, one where you can play all your games on any device. And in some ways, PC gaming is already there. You can access any of your games across different launchers and operating systems, and they'll work. Plus, more games now than ever support cloud saves. The problem comes from trying to play those games on anything but a desktop. As we've seen with the plethora of Windows handhelds that have come out over the last couple of years, Windows doesn't play that well when you're trying to use a device with a controller. SteamOS runs most games and is very user-friendly whether you're using it with a keyboard and mouse or a controller. Add on the fact that the operating system is free to download on any device and isn't loaded with features that slow you down or spy on you, and it really does start to seem like SteamOS and other Linux gaming distros are going to be the future of gaming. There are definitely still kinks to the operating system. Linux can be complicated to install, and a lot of multiplayer games just don't run on it. But the more people install and run games on SteamOS, Bazzite, or other Linux operating systems using Proton, the better the software is eventually going to be, and the more incentive that developers and publishers will have to make sure that their games will launch with native support for SteamOS. And we don't know about you, but we're ready for a major gaming platform that's open and free, and most importantly, that isn't loaded with subscription fees and AI services that you're never going to use. And there you have it. If you need the details on all of Valve's newly announced hardware, check out our hands-on previews of the Steam Machine, Steam Controller, and Steam Frame. And to keep up with everything in the world of games and tech, stick with IGN.
I honestly wasn't sure what to expect when I sat down in front of an Xbox Series X to play an early demo of Halo Campaign Evolved, the just-announced Unreal Engine 5 remake of the original Xbox killer app. And yes, it is a proper remake, not a remaster like Halo Anniversary was. And I'm still not sure exactly how I feel after playing it. I definitely wanted to be blown away by the visuals, in the same way that the original Halo Combat Evolved knocked my socks off back in 2001. Heck, we know Unreal Engine 5 is fully capable. I also didn't want Halo Studios, aka 343 Industries, to mess with too much. Or did I? Would Halo 1 just feel old no matter what? And will PlayStation 5 gamers even care about this 25-year-old Xbox classic when it hits Sony's console for the first time ever, day and date with Xbox and PC? So I went in with a lot of questions, and I left with, well, some answers. Let me explain. I suppose we might as well start with the obvious, how it looks. Is my face properly melted? No, but maybe yours is? I'll be curious to read the comments on this one. But anyway, Campaign Evolved does look very nice, no doubt. It certainly doesn't look like it's 2 decades old anymore. I played a chunk of the legendary Silent Cartographer mission from early in the campaign, and the skybox is beautiful, The water looks great, the trees look very nice, and the terrain texture looks sharp and clean. Once you get indoors, the alien architecture has a unique sheen to it that the original obviously never had. Meanwhile, the weapons all look exactly how you'd expect them to look in the modern era, and the grunts, jackals, elites, and hunters all look convincingly new rather than reskins of quarter-century-old creatures. Everything looks clean, but not in a soulless way, at least not to me. It works as a cohesive art-directed space in the new engine. I also appreciate that VO from the principal actors, Steve Downes and Jen Taylor at the very least, has been re-recorded.
I've been able to pinpoint the main facility by cross-referencing Covenant survey data and religious texts.
While mocap has all been redone for the rebuilt from scratch cutscenes. But let's talk about my biggest concern coming into this demo, the classic Halo feel. Movement, aiming, jumping, vehicle controls, it's all gotta have that semi-floaty Halo feel to it, and I'm pleased to report that even in this very early state, Campaign Evolved is a good bit of the way there. No doubt they'll continue to tweak it over the coming months. This release has no official release date beyond 2026, by the way, but I would be stunned if it's not time to release at or very near the 25th anniversary of Halo Combat Evolved in November of next year. But there have been some gameplay modernizations implemented here that have been ported back from subsequent Halos into this remake, and while purists might bristle at it, most of these seem like
7 years ago, the veil tore open, and the worthy were claimed. We were left behind. In our desperation, we called to you, warrior, to stand against the darkness. Equipped with our best, you will forge a path through Paris, long decayed. Together, we must reach the Sunless Gate. When we die, we will leave this place. But you return again and again. What are you, really? And why have you come? Is this our salvation? Or is this the end?
Get a deeper look into the world and high-impact action of Armistice, exclusively on Xbox Wire.
was called in to contain the breach. I didn't think much of it. It's just another day, right? Wrong. Once forces beyond our reality trapped me, it was a one-way ticket to a whole new world. The question isn't, what can I do to survive? But what can I do to find my way home?
Next-gen graphics, an endless open world, compelling storytelling. Nope. We're milking this bunch of pixels like there's no tomorrow. Come again to feel the magic of the average Italian countryside in a game that will change your perspective. A new adventure begins. Explore maps, level up powers, kill monsters, find treasures. Either take your time and be tactical, or play as fast as you humanly can. The outcome is always accurate. Use wilds to break the combo system, and summon survivors to trigger cascades of effects. Get overpowered and plow through enemies, or carefully customize your abilities to control the unhinged chaos of Vampire Crawlers, the turbo wildcard from Vampire Survivors. Coming as soon as we think it's ready.
Cut! And we're done! Great work, everyone! We managed to go on for over a minute without ever saying neither card nor deck building. Nobody will think we're just another roguelike deck builder. We're in the clear!
Check out our interview with developer Ponkel to understand their bold approach to the follow-up to Vampire Survivors, exclusively on Xbox Wire.
A 00 agent needs the fastest, most dynamic, and of course most striking car when they're on duty. Hybrid, twin-turbo V8, over 1,000 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. Lightweight, carbon fibre chassis, and a few modifications you won't find in the brochure. Meet the Aston Martin Valhalla. But this one is only for 00 agents, James. If you want to drive it, you'll have to earn the number.
.007 First Light will be honouring a long line of iconic Bond vehicles. Find out more exclusively on Xbox Wire.
We've been undercover at this human gas station for 1 month now, and no humans have found out yet. My job is to get everything ready and in place for the invasion. To help with that, we've got Schroep here, our lead scientist, once featured in a very popular magazine on Probalia Tita 12.
Our state-of-the-art technology allows us to blend in and gather all the data we need. Of course, it's important to keep this place up to human standards. Otherwise, the scary ones show up. We need your help. Everyone is being called to Earth to prepare for the invasion. The mission depends on you.
I've been alone in this place. Isolated and rotting away. It has been suffocating. I've lingered here far longer than I ever meant to. Retracing old steps and replaying every moment. Wondering where it all fell apart. But why? What's the point? You can't rewrite what's already happened. My path brought me here to this corpse of a home. These fading memories. They're all I have left. You fought so hard not to drown. And yet here you are, dragging yourself deeper. It feels familiar, doesn't it? You loved this place once. Every moment you dwell here will lead you closer to inevitability. If you still had a chance to leave, would you take it?
We know from experience what it means to be away from those we love most of all. To you living in new surroundings, we send a message of true sympathy. And to think of all the new sights you must be seeing. And the adventures you must be having. So it is not difficult for us to picture the sort of life you are all leading. I know you won't forget us. Good night, and good luck to you all.
This story begins the same way so many do in this world.
Daddy!
With blood. When a man loses everything that matters, ain't nothing that can keep him from setting things right. Not even death. But it's gonna take more than iron to save the one he loves. Because the one thing a bullet can't stop is time.
All I'm looking for is a reason you can love me again. And how am I supposed to move on when you make me stop before I start? Way up now, I'm gonna find my way.
Failure ain't free. Every death cost a decade. He has to find her before it's too late.
Daddy! What took you so long?
I'm gonna find my way.
Bunny.
What?
Still alive? Because if you bite the dust, your ride is mine. Just a heads up.
Hey, Ray, you got the spark?
Ran into a few bumps. But yeah, I got it.
Hey, that's Stone's ours too. Team effort, remember?
But Ray, stone that came so easy. Aren't you worried it'll bring trouble?
Relax. I'm counting on trouble.
This belongs to me now. Finish him.
Right in himself, huh?
Boss, the treasure's yours now.
Good work. As for the bunny, have the boys clean him up, fur and all. Then spice him up for tonight's snack.
What?
Come to Papa!
Right on time! Miss me?
no ending.
Roguelite, slot machines, hell. Delve deep into the bizarre but fascinating journey that awaits you in Clover Pit, exclusively on Xbox Wire.
Listen up. I don't usually ask for help. But this isn't just another target. It's the crazy part of me. I gave him life, and now he wants mine. I've tried to bury him, but this motherfucker just keeps coming back.
I found that no one is untouchable.
Oh, so Eminem brought his back up. A higher gun can't erase me. Choke me with a wire, aim a gun at me. I come back louder and stronger. So what's it gonna be, killer? Are you ready to dance with the devil? Or are you too deaf to hear the beat? This is it. Let's end this motherfucker.
Eminem targets his alter ego in the new elusive target mission for Hitman. Learn more exclusively on Xbox Wire.
We thought all his knights were dead. Yet Lamorak sends one more. I almost admire him.
Tyranno! But you're one of the White King's sorceresses. You destroyed the White Lands.
That destruction is in fact salvation!
You're insane!
You know not of what you speak. Accept your defeat.
Lamorak! She's created another folded realm. I can't reach her.
We cannot cross two folded realms, but this spear shine. Take the spear.
She's human again.
It seems you do have the capacity to surprise us. But not enough. Change. Rectus. Even with your new ally, we end this here.
Enemy of my enemy, I lend you my strength.
We fight as one.
Tyranno of the Nine. You will not escape justice. Justice. There is only the King's will.
Go to hell!
Foolish knight and your foolish friend. Faced with the agony of truth, you choose the comfort of lies. Loyalty without inquiry is in itself a betrayal. Loyalty has condemned this man.
Get more insights straight from Eclipse Glow Games on the story, setting, and gameplay behind that high-flying, unedited boss fight, exclusively on Xbox Wire. Find out what details lurk behind the gorgeous and evocative world of Raji Kali Yuga, the follow-up to Raji an Ancient Epic, exclusively on Xbox Wire.
What's happening, friends? Welcome to Unlocked. It's IGN's weekly Xbox show. We're coming at you live here right now. It is 10:31 a.m. Pacific time here on November 20th, 2025. We're live immediately following the Xbox partner preview for the fall that we just watched. I'm joined by Miranda Sanchez and Michael Hyam. Always good to see you both. Let's just dive right into it. First, just top line thoughts, and then I want to hear each of your favorite game from this, because I thought it was pretty good. Miranda, your thoughts?
Very European. I think there's a lot of games like set like just different parts of Europe. Not necessarily just I guess it's a partner preview. Not necessarily just there, but I also took away that Dave the Diver and Vampire Survivors are eternal. Even though it was a new Vampire Survivors technically announcement,
Yeah.
but those games they just keep coming up. And it's not that it's bad. I'm just like, it's you again. I know you.
Yeah, and apparently the Vampire Crawlers is a spin-off, not a sequel, is what our news team has got clarification on there for anybody wondering, wait, exactly what was that? Michael, your top line thoughts.
I'm trying to listen. The my takeaways is I'm getting an Aston Martin car and I get to assassinate Eminem in Hitman, allegedly. So great showcase. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully folks set expectations that this was not going to be a first party banger of a lineup. That they pretty much said straight up it's called the Partner Showcase for a reason. Reminds me a little bit of the State of Play that we had recently too, where it's a lot of third party stuff, because you can imagine that a lot of the biggest names are saving their announcements probably for the Game Awards at this point. And that's where you'll probably see some of the quote unquote headliners. But it is cool to see that I guess lesser known developers and more games that could use a bigger stage have a showcase, and then seeing things continue on with support such as Hitman with a new elusive target. The fact that we're still getting elusive targets in 2025 and we're getting of all people Eminem, I think is really funny. But it is cool to see continued support for certain games that you thought were done but they're not. But otherwise, like, it's one of those showcases you look back, I was like, okay, cool. Like, there's a couple things that are out today. That's a nice cherry on top. And there's a couple things coming out early tomorrow. So I'm not like pumping my fists and screaming out of my window about anything that was announced here. But it's all good.
I love the mom spaghetti reference.
Yeah.
The Eminem thing too. That was a nice touch.
And I don't think Agent 47 makes it like Mom does.
Probably not. Well, let me stay with you here, Michael. Sure. Give me. We're going to run through. I think we can spend a few minutes on each of these games, because this was a 30-minute showcase, not any sort of huge thing that we'd be sitting here for hours talking about. But we've got time to run through them all. But let's just start with everybody's favorite. So, Michael, what jumped out at you the most?
Surprisingly, there's some cool stuff that I haven't seen before, which is always a nice surprise. But I think the thing that I am actually most excited to check out is Vampire Crawlers. So, Vampire Survivors, like everybody who touched the game, took over your life for like at least a month. It was the only thing I played on my Steam Deck. Oh, I bought this new Steam Deck. I'm gonna play so many games. Guess what? Psych! You play Vampire Survivors for 2 months straight. So the reason why I call out Vampire Crawlers is because I'm also a big Etrian Odyssey fan. And I know Etrian Odyssey is not the only series to do first-person dungeon crawling on a grid-based system, but it is an interesting twist that they're going to take the sort of deck-building-ish roguelike aspects and turn that into a dungeon crawler in the vein of an Etrian Odyssey. I think that's an interesting take on sort of the foundational material that you come to expect from this kind of game. And you see a lot of, I don't want to say imitators, but you see a lot of people or a lot of games try to bank on the popularity of a certain genre or a certain game. After Vampire Survivors came out, we saw a lot of inspiration across the board, and a lot of imitations on the mobile space too, quite frankly. So this is, I think, enough of an interesting twist to where we're not retreading old ground, but we are working with, seems like we're working with familiar mechanics, familiar territory. And I'm not 100% sold on the idea of marrying a dungeon crawler game with the roguelike aspects of a Vampire Survivors, but I am intrigued. And the thing I got from the trailer too is that the satisfaction of a Vampire Survivors is watching numbers go up and watching you just tear through mobs relentlessly. And they still sort of have that feeling in this game from what we've seen. Just like 50 enemies on screen, you're letting your cards rip, and you're just seeing numbers go up, and you're seeing enemies being torn down as you go through the grid-based system. So I think what I want out of a dungeon crawler, what I want out of a Vampire Survivors, I think I'm seeing both, at least in this early trailer.
Yeah, I will say for my part, with nothing against Vampire Crawlers, I'm about full up. Just a memo to the games industry. I'm all set on roguelike deck builders. I think we have a sufficient quantity of them to last us for quite a while.
At the end in the VO, they made a joke about that as well. It's like yeah, it's not just another roguelike deck builder. It's like, yeah,
Yeah, it is.
they're aware.
How about you, Miranda? What was the first game that jumped out at you out of the, I don't know, dozen plus that we saw over the last 30 plus minutes?
Easily Tides of Annihilation. So this one was revealed back with PlayStation in their State of Play in February 2025. So earlier this year, so it's not been super long in its promotion cycle, and we haven't really seen a ton of it yet. But this was a big boss fight, which they've teased in little bits in their reveal as well. And this game still just looks stellar. Like, this is 100% something on my radar, on my list. Ryan, we were talking a little bit before about like certain themes that kind of come up, or storytelling, not like genres, but like
just
formats.
archetypes.
Yeah, archetypes. Yeah, I guess is a better way to say it. It's like Greek mythology, Arthurian legend is what this one is, and it's like anytime people rehash this, I'm like, yeah, let me know. Like, I want to see this. Like, 'cause there's just so many cool ways to play with these really known mythos and stuff, and this one looks so cool, and this boss fight was so sick, like the different like realms and just like the crashing between them, and like having summons come in to help when you can't get into certain parts. This is 100% my thing, so I'm super excited for this. And if you guys hadn't seen this before, there's obviously like a really big gameplay reveal trailer that's out there that has a little bit more of like the world and like what's going on, but I'm stoked for this, and the fact that this is the studio's first game is like really promising as well. So
yeah, from that gameplay reveal, that initial reveal earlier this year, we actually have an exclusive extended trailer, I think, which is is what you're referring to there, Miranda. I want to say it's I don't have it's long. It's like it's maybe 8 or 10 minutes. It's pretty long. If you want to get kind of even more of a gameplay look at that, you can find that on IGN or on our YouTube channel. And what I really liked about this, and what I thought was really smart of the developers of Tides of Annihilation, is that, as it was specifically called out there by the mystery announcer voice after the trailer, that was all unedited. I think that was a really smart way to, like, their trailer was just an unedited boss fight. Like, here's what our game is. We're not trying to, make any cuts or sort of edit anything to make it look even cooler than it already is. Like, no, this is it. So I thought this looked super good. And yeah, this is if it wasn't on people's radars before, it probably will be now.
Yeah, I was curious if this was going to be a Game Pass game or not, and it's not, but that's fine. I'm still going to play it.
Yeah, I think they made a really good impression with this one, and I already know Mitchell Saltzman's out there studying frame data.
Goodness, yeah. It was like every time I see games like this, I'm just thinking about Mitchell. I'm like, Mitchell, we're gonna like bond over this game. It's gonna be great.
He's been typecasted.
Yeah.
I think he embraces it though, as our resident sort of high skill action game Souls-like player.
Yep.
He's all in. So for me, I'll give you the one that jumped out at me. I liked a good number of these games, I'll be honest, but the one that I think seemed like the most Ryan kind of game, and that it's just like, it's visually interesting, the gameplay seems to have a bit of a unique hook, and that's Erosion. Yeah. Erosion is what popped out at me. It's sort of a voxel western roguelite. I know I just got it's not roguelites or deck builders that I'm drawing the line on. It's when those two go together, so this is not a roguelite deck builder. It does have roguelike elements, but yeah, the fact that it's I like that the sort of core gameplay is a sort of isometric top-down twin stick shooter. Mm-hmm. I'm into that. And I like the sort of goofy on purpose animations where everybody's just kind of bouncing up and down, as you can see on the screen now. But the whole time element that ties into the gameplay loops of you have to save the girl, but if you die enough, she ages and she might just be super old. And I love the little kind of like hover car things. Just there's this sort of futuristic Western dystopian vibe to it that I think the voxel visuals suit really well. Mm-hmm. It doesn't seem to be taking itself too seriously, but it's also doesn't seem like a goofy game either. I just thought that the tone and the vibe here are really good, and the art direction, I'm loving it, and that the fact that it's top down twin stick shooter gameplay I'm into it. Yeah, Miranda, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, as you're saying, it's not just like goofy, but I would say more playful.
Yeah.
Like, it feels very playful in what it's trying to do, though it's like kind of trying to drive some sort of serious tone to it. So the tag was every death costs a decade. So at the very end of the trailer, you see protagonist's child just growing to be an old person and then dying. So it's like if you die too much, you kind of just like lose your family along the way. And I think that's probably where you'll see some of the time elements come in as far as like the futuristic tech and other things that come in. But I totally agree. This is my number 2, like most anticipated. As far as like new stuff we saw, this is my number 1.
Nice.
I think it's been a long time since I've played anything that's like twin stick, just like all the way through, other than like dabbling a little bit. So this seems like it would scratch an itch that I've had for a long time and would just be kind of, it just looks like a good time, you know? It's just goofy. I love chickens. Who doesn't love chickens? I want to go to Chicken Town. So, yeah, I like this one a lot too.
Michael, did Erosion do it for you?
Yeah, I think so. I really like the lo-fi voxel art as well, and I mean, the thing you were saying about the tone too, like there's an inherent goofiness to its animation and aesthetic, but I think that's how like they win your heart, and hopefully, you know, I don't want to put too much stock into what the story might be saying, but if they are going for some kind of interstellar ass twist to it, I think that could really get you, because that's how you know, they bring you in with the visuals and the goofiness and the gameplay, and then they try to hit you with something that's a little bit more heavier. So I'm looking forward to that, but the simplicity of like a twin stick shooter gameplay with, you know, I imagine that you're going to be like upgrading weapons and doing different runs and seeing how it plays out. I think this might be a sleeper hit, I will say.
And this one is going to debut on Game Pass Ultimate, day 1 Game Pass Ultimate launch. It's out next year, as we see there. It is coming to everything, with most everything in this showcase, just like most everything on Xbox.
Multiplat
is coming to everything these days, and that's fine. Like this might even be a Switch game for me versus even an Xbox game. I know we're on an Xbox show right now, but
don't say that.
This could be a good one for the road on the Switch. But yeah, voxels showed out pretty nicely on this one, because I guess I'm just gonna transition that to Echo Generation 2, which I love the first one. I don't know if either of you had a chance to play the first Echo Generation, but it's, again, there's something, it's just kind of marries that, like, a classic sort of lo-fi turn-based JRPG type gameplay with this just very unique art style, and I just think super works. There's kind of a little bit of an 80s vibe here, you know, maybe a little Stranger Thingsy, but like I don't know. I'm a sucker for a unique visual style. There's just enough. We see so many Unreal Engine games, and Unreal Engine makes beautiful things, but I just like when a game steps out of the norm and really kind of has its own unique visual style. I mean, that's not the whole reason, but a big reason why Replaced, which we saw at Gamescom earlier this year, and we talked all about that on whatever Unlocked was right after Gamescom. So I just love a fun art style, and this, look at this. I mean, it's just, I watch this and I want to play this game because I want to see where it's going and what it's doing. Michael?
So I'm looking at Echo Generation 1, and it is on sale for very cheap. So if you want to check that out, that is available. But it's like, it seems like there's like a much younger cast in the original game, and then this is like a more grown-up version. So nice twist on I imagine this is also it's like a classic RPG. And is there deck building aspects? Yes, there's deck building.
Yeah, you see it right here.
There you go. We got deck builders on deck, baby. So yeah, it's cool to see like a nice mix of stuff, and I don't know, like Erosion. When there's a unique art style, I think that's enough to at least get me interested. But mechanically, it seems like Echo Generation, you know, folks out there who played it can attest more than I can. But these are the kind of gameplay systems that are going to hook me in. So I might give that a shot.
This one is an Xbox exclusive. This was one of the handful of games that's at least at first it will be only on Xbox and PC. It is also launching into Game Pass Ultimate as well, so it'll be one place to go get it. And if you're a Game Pass subscriber, Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can just grab it day one. Miranda, what'd you think of Echo Generation 2?
Mostly kind of grabbing onto your comment about like lo-fi or low poly art. Like that's been kind of a trend I've been seeing in games, especially in the indie scene a lot, and it's something I've been enjoying quite a bit. It kind of reminded me of this game. It's definitely a different art style that I was playing earlier this year, called Easy Delivery Co., which also has, different to this, but it's just kind of comforting in a way, even though it's modern, like it has that PS2 early not really as much Xbox, but it just has like that older art style, and it just feels very comforting. I guess not PS2, PS1 more so.
Yeah.
But you kind of just like to see that. It just feels, I don't know, makes you kind of feel like a kid a little bit, or at least for me. But that was my kid generation, but
that's kind of how I feel about like HD 2D games.
Yeah.
I know the Octopath Traveler 0 demo came out recently, and then I hopped into that, and I was like, that's the thing about like that the games like this and that series in particular. It's like they're modernized. They have layered complex mechanics and systems that really, build on what you know about these games. So it's not like they're just retreading old ground.
Yep.
But I think it is that visual style that when I play like HD 2D games, I'm like it feels like I'm young again. So I do. That does kind of play into how well the game is beloved and how much I enjoy it. So yeah.
Yeah, and you just like see a vibrancy in like animations and stuff too, and that's kind of just what that reminded me of for this game. But also, again, it just looks fun. I don't think it's something I'll play just for a matter of how much time I have in the day. But
come on.
But it looks cool. But yeah, I was like the cards are
get ready to learn cards, buddy.
It's like, listen, I have too many games that have cards already.
Yeah.
I don't know if my brain can handle another one. It's just
and these were not. There are more games with cards that we'll go through here. I guess at this point we can just kind of start at the top and buzz through, just talk about each one of these games. We don't have to, like I said, we don't have to make this a 2-hour podcast this week, but it was nice to get this partner preview in November. Like it's not normally a time of year that Xbox puts any kind of showcase together. So, we had, we got of course, the developer direct early in the year. There was an ID at Xbox showcase that IGN produced with Microsoft. Of course, there was the June showcase. There's this. There's been no shortage of showcases from Xbox this year, so we certainly can't complain about that. Everything in this showcase, by the way, was Play Anywhere. So that's again, everything from here forward is prepping for that all-platform play wherever you want future, which is nice. And the first game was a reveal. It was a brand new game, not an exclusive, but it's out next year, and it was called Armistice, or I think that's probably how it's pronounced. That's what my brain says.
Yeah.
But this one, it is it's set in a long decayed Paris, third-person shooter. It's got some melee elements, and this one is debuting as a Game Pass Ultimate title, so you can download it straight away. And at first I was getting like some serious Destiny vibes from this. Granted, this is a third-person game entirely, and I didn't see any first-person parts. But then there's some heavy melee stuff mixed in here too. So I thought this looked pretty good. Michael, what'd you think of this?
Yeah, I think I look at this and it reminds me of Returnal. Different setting, slightly different visual style, but I think like that really fast-paced third-person shooting and sort of arcadey in a way, where you look at the abilities and you look at how you handle mobs, and it reminds me a little bit of the pacing of Returnal. So that's cool. I want to, if something like that on Xbox would be really nice. But I also look at this and I'm thinking, this is a video game ass video game. This is like Belle Epoque / Victorian era times with submachine guns and assault rifles that got skins. Like, what are we talking about here? But again, it's like, so what? Like, it's a video game. Let there be some nonsense to it. But I think core mechanics wise, it looks like they seems like they know what they're doing. And yeah, I don't know if this is exactly what I'm going to be looking for, but you know, it might be what an Xbox audience is looking for in terms of something light, something, or not light, but something that is turn off brain, gameplay focused, shoot stuff, and there's always room for that. And I just think that the aesthetic contrast between this Destiny-esque character and Destiny-esque guns and monsters taking over churches in like the 1800s, like, all right, yeah, like that's cool. At least it's different. Hopefully there's some deck building in it and cards.
Wow.
we just have to learn to love it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I like the kind of sci-fi meets fantasy thing going on a little bit here too.
Sure.
Miranda, did this one do anything for you?
This one actually, I was on the other side of the table of like, why does he have a gun? Why does this person have a gun? Like, it's just really weird because it just felt
shoot stuff.
It's just like visually dissonant. It's like, this is like the, I don't know, like you're saying Victorian era. I don't really know. I don't know French history very well. Sorry. Exactly, like aesthetic history, I guess you could say.
Sure.
I did like the premise. It's like the veil opened, and now we're those who are left behind. It's like 4 people. That's it. No, just there's probably more people, but I was like
4 people and
damn.
6.
4 people got left behind. It sucks to be y'all. It's not it. But it just kind of like this idea that they summoned someone to help fight through and get them out. Basically, it's like when we die, we get to die, but you, sorry,
forever.
Yours will come back. So it felt like that was kind of mean, but it's like we all want to get out of here, but you can't. You can't get out. Sorry. Thanks, though. Here's your gun. I was like, how do you guys even know what guns are? Yeah. But no, like, there's some, like...
Don't question it.
I say that, but then I just see, like, a car that looks, like, maybe vaguely modern-ish. You never know. Like, if these old... I was gonna start cursing, sorry. These older European cities, if they're, like, torn down and you just don't... Like, there's no electricity anymore, I guess you could kind of assume that it's, like, an older time period without it necessarily being an older time period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just the history. Those buildings have been there forever, so it just looks old. So maybe there was technology. Maybe there were guns, and there probably were. Anyway, yeah, this one seems fine. I mean, it seems of interest, I think, I could see certain people on the team playing this, but this isn't probably one that I would spend too much time in.
Yeah. Well, from one game with guns to the next, the Mound Omen of Cthulhu summer game, also coming to PC and PlayStation 5. This one is like, oh wait, pirate game, huh? But then it gets weird pretty quick with it's first person shooting with guns. You've got some zombies, all kinds of other horrific creatures. Looks like you can maybe shoot the limbs off of enemies as well in this one. Some fantasy elements, like kind of Miranda. If there was a lot going on visually in the in the last trailer for Armistice, there was a lot going on here too. What did this? Did you have a similar reaction to this one as the first trailer?
Yeah, I think I kind of like this one. I like the idea. It's like there's this weird mound in the forest. What if we go inside and like, oh shoot, there's like all these things. I keep almost cursing. I'm sorry. There's all these like weird, creepy things in here. We gotta go fight them. I don't know. I just think it's funny. It's like, oh shoot, I accidentally shot my friend. I don't know what's going on, but it does seem like it could be like a fun co-op adventure. You go in and figure out what's going on with Cthulhu once again, up to its old ways, you know.
Oh, that Cthulhu! He's at it again.
Gosh, dang it, Cthulhu! We talked about this. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm sitting with this. But this does look like a fun summer release.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Michael, this one move the needle for you at all?
At first I thought this was like a new Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, actually, I thought the same thing.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool, Hunt Showdown content. No, but I mean aesthetically, kind of maybe it plays off of that, but it seems like it's maybe Left 4 Dead but slower pace. Because I don't is this co-op? I imagine
It looks like it is.
It is heavily implied.
That was the thing is, at least from this, we didn't get a ton of information, just kind of like echoes of gameplay of what we might see. But I think we can just check out press releases and stuff later.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious about like the psychological horror aspect to it, and if it is co-op, how does that play into it? If it's not, then I imagine they could like play with that a little bit more. To what extent, I don't know. There might be more information on the Xbox Wire right now, but I'll keep my eye on the mound.
Yes, and then there's a pretty quick trailer next for Dave the Diver. You've got new DLC coming early next year for In the Jungle. This is a game I've always meant to play, Dave the Diver, and I've just never gotten to it. I feel like it's a game that I would super love. Have either one of you played this?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I edited her guide. That's like how I know about things in Dave the Diver, but I didn't actually get to play it because I don't know, it was super busy when this came out.
Yeah.
And every time it comes, like, I'm kind of in the same boat as Ryan. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta play this sometime. This would be fun. I'm like, I don't have time.
Yeah, Dave the Diver has a really interesting gameplay loop. I think it's one of those that kind of you get sucked into it, and the upgrade paths and the way progression works in it is really interesting, and it's one of the few games that makes swimming feel good. I guess. I mean, it's more or less. You can think of it as like a no gravity like side scrolling action game in that sense, but I think like visually it works really well. I feel it's really charming too with its art style and like the characters that go along with it. So it just kind of has all these different aspects going for it, and it kind of reached cult status once people started playing it. I mean, like it got nominated for best indie game. It wasn't really an indie game to begin with, but it has quite a big following, so it's cool to see that it's getting one, more support, and two, getting a new DLC early next year.
So it is out today on Xbox for the first time. So I guess now's as good a time for me to jump into it as any, since fellow Xbox players are finally getting their first crack at this one today. Crossworn. This one was an interesting side-scrolling platformer. A little bit of a cartoony art style. Got twin pistols, a top hat, and a cape with some fun violin soundtrack going on. Michael, you jumped right to the Silk Song reference, which I'm sure the developers of Crossworn would be happy to have you say that.
Yeah. I'm sure that if it's intentional, like so be it. Everything is inspired by everything. You got to put in the work to make a good game regardless of your inspirations. But it is funny because I was thinking about the development of Silk Song has gone on so long that it probably has inspired games that started development back when, I mean, Hollow Knight's been around for a long time at this point, right? But Silk Song itself, I remember it being playable in 2019. So I imagine, and it had like such fervor back then. So I imagine there are people who were inspired by it when in its pre-release state, and it's been 6 years since, so that gives you enough time to like make your own Silk Song. I imagine that after delay after delay, or hearing nothing from Team Cherry, they're like, nah, we got the hit on our hands. If folks want Silk Song, we can come through with our own. And don't get me wrong, I love Silk Song, and I think I might be a little burnt out on it, that kind of game for now, because it's such a time investment and effort investment. But if they have the core mechanics down, and I think that would bode well for them, because what I realized with Silk Song, the big thing with me is the movement of that game is really tight, and there's a lot of platforming aspects that look so similar to how Hollow Knight and Silk Song play in particular. So it's like nothing against it. It's just like, okay, like we know what you're working with, we know what you're bouncing off of, and let's see if you can do it too. So yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against it. I'm not looking at it, I was like, oh, it's a Hollow Knight clone or whatever. It's like, it's fine. It's, again, like I said, everything to be inspired by a game such as that is a pretty good jumping off point, I would say.
Well, this one's going to debut in Game Pass Ultimate, and good news, Michael, it's got deck building stuff in it. I don't know if you picked up on that in the trailer.
Take that up with Miranda.
It's in there. So.
No thanks.
Come
no,
on.
thank you. Listen,
Learn
I did my time in Silk Song, okay?
Yeah.
I did my time.
Yeah, but what if it had cards?
Who knows? Maybe Crowsworm will be the one to change me.
No.
No, it won't. No, it won't. But it's on Game Pass, so I can,
Yeah.
you know.
We talked about Echo Generation 2. We talked about Vampire Crawlers. Arguably the most AAA game to sneak into this. Not that it makes it better or worse, or just kind of a little bit of a different vibe. And that was 007 First Light from IO Interactive. I mean, I guess Hitman is in that same group too. So we got two IO Interactive appearances in this. 007 First Light. The announcement was the James Bond car that you're driving in this game, which is a custom Aston Martin with all kinds of guns and fun stuff on it.
Yeah, I was a little confused at first. I was like, is this an advertisement for a new Aston Martin? I was like, no, they're not going to sell a car that has attachable machine guns coming out the side of it. But I was like, man, let me review a car. Listen, I'm the tech reviews editor. Cars are tech. Ryan, you know this.
Yes.
You've got connections in the cars industry. Hook me up. Let me review this thing. And maybe keep it. I don't know.
Well, the Valhalla is a real car, by the way.
Yes.
I'm just double checking. There are only 999 of them being made. It's a plug-in hybrid hypercar, 1,000 horsepower. So, but yeah, as you noted, the real-life version doesn't have guns that pop out of it. Yeah. That's a dealer add-on extra, I guess. But yeah, the Valhalla is a real car. So,
saying, let me review it.
Yeah, let's send it on over, Aston, and we'll do a whole feature on it.
It was kind of. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying it said in the it was a Q in there. It's like 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. It's like, well, my car can do that. Like, oh, but okay, my car doesn't have guns, so that would help in traffic. But I guess that's one that 007's got on me. So go ahead, Miranda. What did you? Where are you with 007 First Light? Like, have you taken any interest in it? Because it's coming up soon, end of March.
But I was just gonna say more so that I was surprised that this is one of the things they led with as being part of the partner preview, and it was just like this very quick, look at this car, and then they kind of moved on, which I thought they were gonna do like more of a gameplay snippet or something with it, and there were some I guess at the end there's like a short montage of gameplay, but that wasn't quite what I was expecting. But I guess it is cool that his gun has turrets on the sides. Randomly, that's a cool mod.
Yeah.
I wonder what other mods there will be.
It's all good.
But yeah, that's it. I think I will play this one, even though I'm a little like, I don't know. I'll never. It's been on the show plenty of times, but I'll never not be annoyed that he's like a baby. But that's okay. That's okay.
I mean, on paper, this game has so much potential because we've talked about it before. IO Interactive is just such a perfect developer to do a 007 game, given their track record with the Hitman stuff. And I hope they come through. I hope they deliver. I mean, the state of play that they did just on this game, whatever that was, a couple months ago, the frame rate was pretty rough. So it's like, well, all right, hopefully there's still time to polish, and we'll kind of see where the final game lands. But I'm super optimistic for this one, and now, I mean, there's this and Resident Evil and a couple other things in that first quarter, so it's gonna need to be good to stand out from the other heavy hitters coming out in Q1, but it will be here soon in just 4 months basically. This next one did not do it for me, but you guys seemed amused, yeah, Miranda. So this was Roadside Research, where you play as aliens running a gas station, apparently in disguise, even though hilariously the disguises are literal like faces drawn on paper taped to the faces of the aliens, which you can then customize, as we saw in the trailer too. This is an Xbox exclusive. Sorry, PlayStation fans. It'll debut on Game Pass Ultimate. And Miranda, tell me why you liked this.
It's just so goofy. Like, well, one, I'm very into like the friend slop era we're in right now, which I think is sometimes a little mean to call certain things when they are not just slop. They're actually good games.
Yeah.
But this one's obviously a 4-player co-op. Like, you're trying to make this thing work. Things are just really weird and goofy. This looks like a great weekend to me. Like, this is just so fun. It's 4 people, perfect for me and my siblings. We're gonna go in, draw obscene faces, and try to trick some humans. I also just love convenience stores. Like, this is just a very weird personal thing for me. I love fictional convenience stores. Yeah. I love, like, setting them up. I don't know what it is. They're just small. They got everything you want. It's just a good time. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And I thought they did a really great job with this trailer. It's so goofy. Look at the dog. It's so funny. Like, the camera's very Office-esque and other things.
Yeah.
Like, they just shot this in such a fun way that I think kind of tries to convey the tone that they're going for, which how silly it is and how much you can just kind of make this your own and just do goofy stuff. So I hope it does like pan out to be as goofy as when you play. But I imagine, since, you know, games are always better with friends, right? So when you're playing with folks, I imagine would be a good time.
I hope you can shoot the Men in Black back that, you know, that we saw there, that one of the aliens got killed when, I guess, you raised too much suspicion and the Men in Black come and take you out. But
let's get a little ray gun or something.
Early 26, so not too long to wait on this one. Michael, are you going to be in line at the convenience store for roadside research?
Man, I'm gonna be outside of my 7-Eleven getting a full throttle and a bag of combos, baby. But I look at this and I think about how, again, Peak just came out this year, and there's this. It feels like there is a gold rush when it comes to these kinds of co-op games that are goofy, that can go viral, that streamers are gonna play, and you're kind of banking on the idea that it'll reach a certain critical mass to where you're going to be able to sell a lot of copies, because that's what happened with Peak. Like, that developer, you know, they've made
2 developers.
Yeah,
It's a combo.
Yeah, and so like they've made games before, but they did not experience success anywhere near that of Peak, which is a co-op climbing game, and that just reached critical mass. And before that, you know, that we have things like Phasmophobia and what's the Repo was a big one too. And it feels like there's this gold rush to get your co-op game out there, and you know, that because that feels like the genre that you can, I don't want to say easily tap into, because game development is never easy, right? But it is a sort of approachable thing to make, and there's value in that too, because like my experience playing Peak with friends is some of the best multiplayer experiences I had this year. And so you look at something like this, and if the mechanics are there, if the interactions are there, that's a big thing too. Like, that's why Peak is so successful, is because the interaction between different your friends and the different players you're playing with are interesting and intricate and fun. It has a lot of these emergent moments, and I think a lot of these games bank on these emergent moments happening. I mean, that's why any of these are successful, because you see it clipped from streams, and you have that same experience yourself, and it's when you see your favorite streamer having a great time, and then you have that great time too, it's like, oh, okay, this, you know, the game actually has a sauce. So I think you're going to see a lot more games like this that are trying to bank on that success, and perhaps this will be the next one.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, as you said, it's like with Phasmophobia and other stuff, like, this has been going on for many years at this point. Like, it's not like a newer thing, but I think we're seeing more of an onslaught of like the weirder kind of out there ideas, which is, I think, great to see. Like, there's a few that were in the Steam Next Fest that look pretty promising too.
We just got a few more minutes, burn through a few more games here. One that's out today, a shadow drop, Total Chaos, a dark fantasy sci-fi first-person shooter, horror game. And I confess I'm not familiar with Sam Preble, the person mentioned as somebody that I'm supposed to know who it is. That was mentioned at the end there. but this is also on Game Pass right now. And hey, I'm always down for a good new single player first person shooter. Don't know if this is good yet, but I liked what I saw of this. I mean, there's some melee elements mixed in, plenty of atmosphere going on. Michael, you gonna play this one?
Perhaps. And it's interesting. I am familiar with Sam Preble as Wadaholic. I don't know if folks, it's kind of a niche thing in the Doom modding community. But Wadaholic is apparently a well-known Doom modder.
Okay.
And Total Chaos was originally born out of a Doom 2 mod.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and this is kind of a full evolution of that idea.
Awesome.
So yeah, and like if you're familiar with the Doom modding community, there's a lot of crazy stuff that folks have done out there with Doom 1 and Doom 2 in particular. So yeah, and there's a lot of the way you can mod the different elements that you can mod have created a lot of psychological horror stuff. There's a particular very popular one that has kind of like this House of Leaves type concept to it. But anyway, the point being is that these are kind of ideas that are born out of smaller scale projects that kind of got, it seems like they got a much bigger budget. I mean, they have Akira Yamaoka on the soundtrack, so that's kind of a big deal. But I look at this and I think of, like, when I think of horror, what I think of is the psychological elements. I think the original Silent Hills really got me because of that. I was originally thinking of this as like, oh, maybe it's like a Painkiller spiritual successor or something like that, but it's a lot more slower paced.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's going to be really messing with your mind. I'm interested in this because of its origins as a Doom mod, and I want to see how that comes out into a fully fledged, AAA looking game. But I think you're seeing the foundations of something that can be really interesting and different is the main thing too. We got, like we said, in this showcase, we see a lot of co-op games. We see a lot of deck builders, a lot of similar stuff. And like, being a first person shooter is not groundbreaking or anything. But if you can pull off sort of those surrealist elements in something like this, I think that it can really stand out.
Well, Miranda, we know how much you love the horror games, so I'm sure you'll be first in line for this after we get off the air today.
Absolutely not. But Michael's context for this as like a Doom mod makes a lot of sense because it feels like the enemies are very present, and I think that makes it less scary. That's like something I noted. It's horror, but it doesn't feel like terrifying because if you're constantly put with the enemies in your face, that makes it, I think, inherently less scary. Like, right? The monster is known to you. You've seen it constantly. You have big boss fights. However, that doesn't mean it can't be scary. And again, as it being a Doom mod or like coming out of that, it just makes a lot more sense with why things are so present. But
yeah, we'll be off the air in just a few minutes here, so everybody go download it, give it a try on Game Pass Ultimate right now. We also had a quick look at ReAnimal announcing the February 13th release date and a demo out today. So 2-player co-op from the creators of Little Nightmares. So that's I think ReAnimal's been looking great the whole way. Yeah. I've been playing. My 14-year-old daughter and I have been on a co-op run together. We did all the Haze Light games. She was my co-op partner when I reviewed Lego Voyagers for IGN. And so yeah, I think when she gets home from school today, we're definitely going to give the demo of this a try. But yeah, happy Valentine's Day for this one when it comes out on the 13th. Zoo Punk was a strange sci-fi game, like a gritty reimagining of Bugs Bunny, as Michael Hyam put it.
Sleeper hit. You heard it here first.
We had Clover Pit, which was it's a retro 3D graphics slot machine game out now, and it's an Xbox exclusive Game Pass Ultimate launch. We talked about Eminem as the next elusive target. We talked about Tides of Annihilation, and then the last thing was Raji Kali Yuga, which is a sequel to the previous Raji game, Unreal Engine 5, and that was how we closed it out. So, yeah, solid showcase again. Yeah, I don't think anybody's expectations were through the roof on this, but I enjoyed the half hour. Seemed like some plenty of good stuff coming Xbox's way, and in most of the cases to other platforms' way as well. So yeah, Miranda, Anything to plug before we hit the road?
Yes, I've got a quick one. There's a new show coming to IGN. I'm really excited. We are piloting Is It Still Fun? Basically a show on revisiting old games and saying, is it actually still fun today? Not like, is it monumental? Is it good? No. Is it actually fun to play right now with how it's available? And so we are airing our first episode on November 24th. And we are taking a look at Zelda Ocarina of Time, which of course is a major classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? So this is going to have sort of a bit of a rotating cast as we get into new games. So like the goal is for us to play like as much of the game as possible. So it was shot over a period of time. And I will say it was a lot of fun revisiting this and discussing about whether it actually was still fun to play right now and like what problems it has and how it's available.
Oh.
So definitely check that out.
I hope I get invited to be on this sometimes. This sounds like a fun show. It's definitely going to be
get an
tuning in
invite
this week. Mr. Hyam, anything to promote before we go?
Yeah, I will also be on that show.
Sick.
So at some point, I don't think I could say what I'm going to be covering, but it's going to be really interesting, especially with 2026's slate in particular. So be on the lookout for that. I don't have any work to plug necessarily. Just doing my usual thing. But really quick, with Raji, I did want that'll be my plug. Raji Kaliyuga is actually so the original game, an Ancient Epic. I saw a lot through its development in the indie scene at things such as, what does Double Fine do? What's their showcase again? Day of the Devs. And like PAXs and stuff. And it was like a isometric, small-scale action-adventure game. This is a sequel, and it looks completely different. And has like AAA production values. It looks like it's leaning into horror elements. Whereas the other game was more of like this kind of whimsical exploration of South Asian culture and all that, where this looks like it's going in a completely different direction. So I guess I will plug. That'll be my plug, is to go check out that original game. I really liked it a lot, and I really like how it focuses on like Hindu and Balinese culture, and very unique thing that you don't get from games usually. So I really enjoyed that game, and I'm really surprised. I don't want to say like I'm necessarily excited or hyped up, but I am surprised by it. So I would. I'm just gonna plug Raji. That's a cool game.
Sweet. Well, I'm gonna plug that you and the hardware team got to go up to Valve. You did just a giant mountain of coverage on Steam Machine, then a new Steam controller and Steam Frame. All that stuff is on IGN.com and on our YouTube channel. In fact, there is a Steam Machine playlist on our YouTube channel with all your videos, all the coverage. That includes previews of each of those pieces of hardware, conversations with Valve, and a couple of opinion pieces as well. There's a lot in there. So you guys just knocked it out of the park covering all that new Valve stuff. So everybody go check that out.
Yes, sir.
And before we go, I wanted to mention our friends at Humble Bundle. If you are looking for something new to play, as well as a way to give back, you can head over to Humble Bundle right now. You can grab 8 great games for just $14.99, including Total War Warhammer 3, Another Crab's Treasure, No More Heroes 3, Etrian Odyssey HD, Pharaoh A New Age, Synergy, Spin Hero, and Paleo Pines. Every purchase supports No Kid Hungry, helping provide meals to students in need across the country. And don't miss our special holiday offer. You can get an annual subscription, so 12 months worth, for just $124.99. That's down from $154.99 when you use the code HOLIDAY25IGN. It's available right now through December 1st, so head on over to humblebundle.com and start playing today. That'll wrap it up. I want to thank our amazing producer, Tayo Oaken. My name is Ryan, alongside Miranda and Michael. Stay tuned. Our episode for next week for Unlocked will arrive early for a very particular reason. We have another episode dropping this Saturday, November 22nd. And if you're going, wait, November 22nd, it's the 20th anniversary of the Xbox 360. We have a very special guest joining us for that to relive some of the 360 glory days and share some fun stories. So look for another episode of Unlocked this weekend, Saturday morning. Grab it on your favorite podcast feed or on youtube.com/IGN Games, and we'll see you then.